Oh, it did the thing. Did the thing. It really is weird. I don't think the button's broken. I think it's more that it's hicky. Welcome in, Abram. Well, all you missed is me individually thanking
So,
everyone
barricades
here.
made from berries?
That'll be for later. I want to use that either as a new enemy or as part of the boss fight, the Chapter 2 boss. Even Mac. I did. I did. Yes. And you.
Berries made from barricades?
Reverse that. You are a super player. Okay. So Silk Song update. The Steel Soul run is turning into the Steel Heart run, maybe. There's a handful of bosses. Hey, Captain. There's a handful of bosses in Silk Song that the only thing they guard is like one tool. Or, one item that is required for 100%. I didn't think myself. I'm not even here. So I did clear out Unraveled. And I took out Father Flame. But the big one that is required to even get into Act 3 is Grohl the Great. And he's done. He's dead. He wasn't even a big problem. I didn't do any practice runs. I just had a decent loadout. Hey, Slav. He was surprisingly not bad. One thing that really helped, I think, was the loadout. Rather than go cog flies for damage, I went with the Volt Vessel Bolas to intercept his slurp move, because while he's reeling from that, that's a good window to get some free hits in. And I went Injector Band for quicker heal instead of my usual Blue Tool loadout. I went Wreath, and yeah, I was really surprised. I would occasionally take a few hits, but I'd never drop below like 5 or 6 health. And I was able to heal it up. At any time I was that low, I was able to heal it up immediately. So Steelheart is on the table. For anyone who's not in the know for Silk Song, that is 100% clear with no death. It does. I feel like healing was a little bit faster in Hollow Knight, but with only getting 1 health, it was... Yeah, I think that's a lot of it, is being able to find a little nook out of range. Yeah, being able to air stall with that is good. But yeah, my current plan is clear out as much as I can in Act 2 before starting Act 3. That includes the fleas and all the tools I can get. And then I guess going down the checklist and seeing, like, is there anything else? Because most things are going to be easier in Act 2 than Act 3. But yeah, I'm feeling nervous that it's actually going to get into Act 3. Because Act 3 starts with... Act 3 starts with a little baby gauntlet fight, but you're locked into, I think, no tools and 4 health. And they are void enemies that can deal 3 damage. And so pretty much you can take 1 hit. You can take 1 hit, but you have 2 waves of 2 enemies each. They're little baby enemies, but they're gonna be a problem. Because they got buffed health, buffed damage, and it's a tiny little arena. I hate it. I hate that. Now, if I can clear that, we're pretty much home free until... What else could be a problem in Act 3? The hearts are... Yeah, I guess it's just Lost Lace, because the hearts are all Dream Warrior rules, as long as I don't go Seth. I'm going Verdania for that. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be that bad. Pick up the oil as soon as possible in Act 3, and then we're pretty much clear sailing until Lost Lace. I'm not worried about Abyss. Nothing in that. Oh, I did the lava. I don't think Trobio 2 is required because you still have the tool slot filled, since it's technically an upgrade to a tool. I don't think Lost Scarmond gives you anything except for a memento. Is that what you get? Let me see here. What do you actually get from Scarmond? Yeah, memento. No, but it makes the plasmium stuff easier, which isn't necessary either. Pinstress is required. What's the reward there? That one may not be required. You get like... Wait, what do you get? Oh yeah, you get the pin badge. That's a tool. You get pin badge. Pin badge is... The Rhino and Tutu is a fun. This is Rosie. She is the mid-boss of Chapter 2. We're going to be working on doing some animations with her. I did one major thing off-stream, and that was I finally got around. We had everything in one massive class for the moves, the different moves that you have. That was all one... Let me see if I can check the GitHub history, and we're going to see how big that file was. It was bad. It didn't start bad. It was about 2,000 lines long. I did beat Unraveled, so I got the Silk Heart for that. That one wasn't as bad as I remember. It has a little baby gauntlet. But yeah, the fact that the guys he throws at you do not stick around. They just bounce off the wall. No, see, I didn't actually, like, unravel the code or anything here. All I did was just moved it into smaller files, like a bunch of... I divided it up based on what chapter the moves appear in, or special moves for the player are now... There's a single file for the special moves, etc. So that's going to make it a lot easier to just scroll on these files. Because some of those were getting very... It was getting unruly. It's not any more efficient at all. I'm still loading all of the moves. Bell Eater... I've seen some good strats using Volt Vessels. That might be the route I go with that. I remember Bell Eater giving me problems, but I'm a lot better than I was before. So we'll see how that goes. It'll probably be fine. Yeah, the vertical ones. The vertical ones. because you can toggle that one at a bench. You can have the radial ones that you throw out that bounce a little bit. Those are the ones that are good for Grohl because he eats them. But yeah, since he's always kind of in place a bit, you can just really lay on the damage. And if he lines up where you can get both parts, that's pretty good. Favorite boss? Ooh. I mean, Cogwork Dancers is really, really good. Right? That's gotta be up there. That's such a good one. Just, it's not hard. It's heavily telegraphed. But that kind of works in its favor. Because you feel like any time that you take damage, it's because you screwed up. Not because the enemy pulled some, they dipped into this area that I forgot that they can threaten. Ooh, yeah. What does he give you? I remember him being a little bit annoying. I would probably just watch a little bit of footage of what he does. That gives you Hidden Hunter. Oh, yeah, that's for a Mask Shard. That one's for a Mask Shard. And the other one is killing 10 of the Void Masses for a Mask Shard. I did get up to 9 now, which is the max you can get before Act 3. Savage Beastfly was scary. I went in with Magma Bell, of course, and that really saved my bacon. The Steel Soul specific boss was not bad. A little bit erratic sometimes on the movement. Kind of can threaten a wide area, so if you just kind of get a few hits in and then wait for it to move, it works out pretty well. Yeah, that's his shtick. That it can just kind of dart around a little bit more than I would like. All right. Rosie here needs some animations for taking damage. As well as is that really all the Act 3 boss? I guess it is, because yeah. I think, all right, Lace 2 or Lace 3 will not be too bad because I can go practice it in any of my 100% files. Yeah, now that you mention it, it is a lot like Silk Song. There's bugs. Watcher the Edge is a memento. Don't have to do it. Yeah, that one's optional. Yeah. I don't remember a lot about that one. Wasn't super interesting. Yeah, the rest are in memories. For 100% though, I also have to do. You definitely don't lose if you die in a memory. Maybe I should look that up. Just to be sure. 100% also means doing the Flea Carnival. And Flea Master, or Sprint Master. It's that those weird Act 3 areas. Yeah, the thing. Sprint Master. There's no Act 3 exclusive fleas. I guess I technically do have to beat Grandmother Silk again. Yeah, Carmelita, scary. Coral Tower, the gauntlets are the only thing, really. Everything else is fine. And yeah, I'm doing dancers because I don't want to do Seth. That's exactly why I'm doing dancers. What do we need here for... I got my notes. Here. Does this mention our... No, it does not. Okay. I just gotta... I had this in another file, I guess. Each actor... And actually, if we go to the regular pig actor here, we can see the list of animations that we need. Hurt, sleep, tired. Hurt, sleep, and tired. Oh, it was a good try. It was there's no desert temple, GQ. There's no desert temple. Hurt, sleep, tired. Hurt, sleep, tired. Okay. Well, let's just get our placeholders here. Hurt, sleep, tired. Now these are for sleep and tired are for specific status effects that probably will never come up. Still. Majora's Mask didn't even have a desert, did it? It didn't have a desert. Okay. That's a good point. There could be one somewhere out there. All right. So we are going to change this to use the animation canvas instead of the sub viewport. In Four Swords, I don't know anything about Four Swords. Stop it. Couldn't tell you a thing about Four Swords, except that there are 4 swords. But yeah, I think for the Steel Heart run, it's pretty much just collect a lot of fleas, clean up the tools that I'm missing, which is... Oh, I do have to do Second Sentinel. That one is a little bit scary, but not that bad. I'm probably missing some craft metal that I just have to figure out where it is. Link Between Worlds seemed like it was a good remix of Link to the Past, like a good full redo. I want them to do that more often, of just like, all right, it's the same general idea of what's going on. We're keeping the same vague layout, but we're doing the whole thing from scratch with new dungeons. So it's familiar but new and fresh. That was a good take. It was a good take on it. What does being hurt look like? What does being hurt look like? So when idle, we're doing this. Burr, burr. Ocarina of Distance. And you can divide the two. Get the Ocarina of Velocity. Alakazam, good guess. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. See, that works pretty well. So then for Hurt, we're gonna have to get a different face. And maybe I know. Let's take position and rotation here. Let's knock her on her back foot a little bit. Right like that. Get the foot here. Rotated. And positioned. And wiggly. Let's do a 0.4. Never heard of that one. Man. Cubic. Oh, whoops. Right. This one is the rotation. And the body. No, we want more. We want more. -20 to -12. We'll see, now this feels like it's barely doing anything. There we go. There we go. What was our other... Go back to... Twirl. Yeah, let's do the twirl. Hey, Liari. Welcome in. Let's do the region rectangle. For arm 1 and arm 2. So we're doing hurt animation. Let's do arm 1 and arm 2 region rectangles. Great, that's what I wanted. Fine, don't worry about it. Position and rotation of arm 1 and arm 2. Now let's mess with it a little bit. Great, looks great, looks great. Okay, arm. Oh, and scale. That was something else we did, isn't it? For the twirl. Yeah, arm 1 and 2 scale. So let's do that. Arm 1 scale. Arm 2 scale. Okay, looks better. I mean, obviously it doesn't look great. Bring it down a bit. Arm 2 rotation. Where does that need to go? Here? Maybe? GoldenEye 64, that's the one. And I think we can wobble this a little bit. Oop, not this. This. GoldenEye Double Dash. Now we're talking. Okay, bring that down a bit also. That's a good wobble. It's a good wobble. Does that fit? There's a question for you. Does that actually fit in the sub viewport? Or does that exceed the boundaries? Oh, it do exceed the boundaries a little bit. Hmm. No, what if? What if? Nope. Oh, we can't quite fit it. Okay, that's fine because we can just increase the size of the sub viewport and then balance it out. So it becomes a little bit of a big sprite, but no more cutoff, which is important. Thousand. Thank you for the follow. All follows are anonymous. Instant Star Fox. Mac was ready. Mac was ready. Okay, that's the basic hurt animation, but we're not done. Not by a long shot. Okay, yes, I can confirm. It was Hal. Cult following in 4K. That's what they say, right? Do they still say that, right? I'm still cool. I'm with it. I'm hip. All right, so let's have the head. Can I get a hat wobble? Actually, can I get an entire head wobble here? Oh, yeah, actually, that kind of works well, bouncing a bit. But also, I would love a hat wobble. There we go. He's the hip one. Man. It is cold tonight. I'm putting on the fuzzy socks. The extra fuzzy warm socks. Oh, they're slightly uncomfortable, but they are warm. The fabric is all bunched up uncomfortably, and there's nothing I can do about it. Dress wobble. Secret of Evermore. Good game? Nope, nope. Bad. No. Just a little bit. Oh, wait. What if we take this and we just offset it? Give it that nice secondary motion, you know? Secondary motion they say so much about. Whoa, whoa, whoa. It's one of your favorite. Boy, it sure is not a silent protagonist. What if we take this head rotation and wobble that off as well? See, that feels like head banging versus that. That looks better. Photon is here. Welcome in, Photon. How was the stream? How are the planes? We need to get this rhino. We need some big surprised eyeballs. You deserve Metroid Prime 2. No! Just do a Secret of Evermore playthrough. Settings for terrain view distance. Nice. Fun sliders in settings now. I've been working on some settings stuff in the background. Someone recommended not too long ago. Let's go to our little test scene here. And you're not going to be able to tell what's going on here until I mess with some other settings. Mute on minimize is now a setting. Fade out. Fade in. Fade out. Fade in. Versus disabled, where it just keeps the music going. And there's something very specific I chose to do on that. Bring back the regular music. Which is on minimize mute, it does not cut the audio suddenly. And this is very intentional. I distinctly wanted it to gracefully fade the audio out because that tells you, okay, it didn't freeze or something like that. It is doing that very intentionally. It is bringing the audio down. I didn't crash it somehow. I think it's important for it to do that, but that's the kind of attention that I need to put into a lot of other stuff. There's a ton of other features in here that I'm just like, just get it done. Good enough. Yeah, that's pretty much how video games work. All right, call it a day. Yeah, exactly. I gotta put my gloves on too. All right. We need a hilarious rhino expression here. I think I need to move the hat. I think the hat needs to move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 400. 500. 600. 650. Save it. I heard of a game, The Farmer was replaced. I don't know if that rings a bell. I don't believe it does. Okay. We got the hat back. Hope Farmer is okay. I'm trying to think of what games have been made in Python that I can think of. When I was very early on learning how to do from scratch video games, one of the early things I tried was Pygame, I think was the library. And not a good choice for me. Actually, you know what? It was fine because I had to struggle and learn and get better. I wasn't in any position to actually be making a game at that skill level. Oh wait, I don't know if it was you that was telling me about that or someone else, but that does ring a bell. That does ring a bell now. Hello? Delete that. Select this. Copy, paste. What's the difference on the twirl animation? Show me twirl animation. The face region. 432 versus... Wait, that's X. 151 versus 233. Okay, so we're just eyeballing it, apparently. Making games is complicated. Wasn't a skill level to be able to handle something big in Pygame. Yeah, it is. Okay, I think I made the right decision with this game because I have been wanting to do a Thousand Year Door style RPG for a while. But the time that I was considering it, I had not scratched the surface on 3D engines. My code was a lot sloppier. It wasn't gonna happen. I intentionally put that one on the shelf. It's like, this is a fun idea, but I'm not there yet. I need to wait. I need to be patient. We'll get to it. And then we did. Here we are. We're here. We made it, everybody. Congrats. So let's do this. Let's take this eyebrow. Oh, Ethan. Oh. Great. Cool. And then nope. Hang on. No. Do this one underneath. So this doesn't seem quite right, but maybe it'll work. Dang old thing happening here. Okay, we moved the hat so that we could make room for some big ol' eyes. And now, let's get those big ol' eyes. Oops. All right. That doing a heckin' concern, as the kids say. All right, that works. That's our hurt animation. We have two more, technically. Tired and sleep. Thing is, those should not come up. Because tired as an animation is only supposed to come up if you're poisoned. And sleep, of course, only if you're asleep. So what I'm gonna do, don't tell anybody. For now, I'm just going to duplicate the idle animation for both of those. No, I can't get away with that. All right, hold on. Don't move the arms. Slow the animation down significantly. And give her a head bob. Great. That'll work. There's our sleep animation. Tired animation. Get rid of these. This is supposed to be like, I don't know, thick. It's not a bad idea that we could mess with the region wreck to the face for this one. Nope, not there. Just very slightly. Oh, on the hurt animation, what if face scale? Wiggle it a little bit. Wiggle that face scale by just a smidge. Yeah, it's subtle, but I like it. All right, there we go. You unlock the romanceable NPC option in Act 4, much like Silksong. All right, those animations are Dunyan rings. Dying animation. Maybe, but maybe not. Typically, we just have the hurt animation play out for a bit. Dating simulator minigame. It'll be like the one in Super Paper Mario. Because there was a dating sim visual novel joke with an interface and everything in Super Paper Mario. Subtly better, all the way through. Is that a thing? It is. Dabble is not a Mario. Although he's definitely going to fit that blank slate silent protagonist thing to a point. Okay, the big jump attack. The big jump. You guys remember the big jump. We never made the big jump. Right, move this back to using the sub viewport for animation instead of the animation canvas. Set. Jump orange. Great. I got rid of the mirror block modifier for the twirl attack. The twirls now happen half a second after each other, which gives you enough of a window to actually block each one of them individually, and now they each individually have a tail. The other one, though, where she just charges through both player and partner, those are still tied together. Okay. Big jump. The idea with big jump is she would jump up, be a long slide whistle noise, and then, I don't know, I guess she lands on you or next to you. I think, okay, this makes for an interesting set of moves, because the charge is AoE, the twirl is lots of little attacks, 1-1-1, and then the jump can be like one big attack. So it works out. She's got lots of variety, and then she can occasionally do she won't occasionally do a strength up. That will be a scripted, at a certain threshold, strength up for the rest of the battle. So big jump attack. So now we have this nice new, easier to scroll in file. This is gonna be Rosie jump attack. The graceful leap. You're never gonna see it. This can just be either enemy, and that's important. One attack will always hit the front, one attack will always hit both, one attack will hit either. And that means that, yeah, whoever's in back is more protected. And that makes sense. That's what we should have going on here. All right. how are we gonna move you around? Why do we have this? Get rid of that. Ugh. We had it for this, for set flag. Okay. So we want to have Rosie jump up into the air. Oh, I have a jump action. Launch actor. And it goes off time to impact, which is perfect. Love that. So I think I've got an example of this in chapter 1. Yeah. Launch, wait for that moment, and then whatever. Reusable scripts. Love it, love it. So we're gonna make it really launch up in the air for like 8 seconds. 6 seconds. I don't know. It'll be jump duration. How about that? Jump duration. Wait that many milliseconds. That's when we cue the damage. Source.actor. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. Leave this. Oh. Launch actor goes towards an actor. No, that's what gets... Oh, it's to a location. Duh. So source.actor, yes. Target location is going to be their head, not their feet. Target.actor dot position plus about 1. How does this work here? Sector position 0.2, huh? Oh, that's snail domino. That one doesn't count. That one doesn't count. Snail fanfare, no. Snail bounce, no. Snail roll, no. No. Pig dive bomb, close. Landing position, not great. What's the other one? Bonk position. Target actor.get top. Now that sounds like what we want. There we go. So launch towards the target location, make it a big, big jump that lasts like 6 seconds, and then do damage at that moment of impact. Her strength is 2, so it's going to be regular damage. So no modifier on damage. Then immediately launch back home. Move backwards for this. I think that's necessary, is to turn on the move backwards flag. Yeah. Move back to source.actor.position. But also do a twirl. Do a twirl animation while that happens. Why not? Yeah, as soon as we hit, change to a twirl animation. Jump duration 2 is going to be much quicker, so launch us back in 2 seconds. And then wait 2 seconds. Thanks for the Pib party. Just what I needed. That should be it. Yeah. All right. Give Rosie the Rosie jump attack. An underrated soda. All right, Rosie. Whoa! Oh, jeez. And she's gone. Okay, bye. Bye. Great. Okay. So, she left. Let's make some changes here. First off, set her velocity to 0. Second jump duration can be much quicker. Thank you for the follow. All follows are anonymous. There was supposed to be a little fanfare. I didn't hear it over the music. Jump duration can be much smaller, I think. Let's try this. She did what she came to do. It is all done. Her work is finished. Being able to see the shadow helps. Okay, and I need to turn back to idle. I was able to block it. Okay, turn back to idle at this point. I think with the long slide whistle, that'll work out. Let's see that again. I want her to do a little twirl. I want her to do a little actual twirl here. Let's fire a tween for this final jump duration. Jump duration 2. Give me a double spin. Give me a double spin, Rosie. Do a 720. Oh, yeah. That's very nice. Actually, you know what? I'm going to let her hold that dancing animation for just a little bit longer at the end. Just a half a second extra. And also, let's add a half a second extra to her twirl move. So that she lands while twirling and continues twirling for just a little bit extra. A pib extra. Oh. Wait, that wasn't right. That one did not work out. What was that? Where did her twirl go for that? Why would that have changed her twirl timing? Owl. Okay, let's go slow-mo. Maybe a little faster mo. Yeah, she's not doing her twist. Until there, when she... I don't think that's related. I think that's something with the moving backwards stuff. So let's actually take this out. And then also do a facing enemies. Set actor facing enemies. Okay. This will be a good one, if it works the way we want. Bowl, not owl. Okay. She's not doing her twirl move. What happened here? Oh. Tweens are measured in seconds, not milliseconds. I'm mixing my units up. Mixing up my units. Okay, well, that being the case, this moving backwards is fine then, and actually does help us a bit. It makes it so that she comes to a stop facing the correct direction instead of coming to a stop facing backwards and then quickly facing forward. Well, nope, that didn't look good at all. What was that? Spin, 1 spin, and 2 spin, and then more spin. Change the moving backwards to here. I think, no, let's do it here. Just get the right order of operations going on. To our silly little engine that we've made here. That's it. All right, we got it. We got it. There we go. That's the jump attack. So now she's got 3 different attacks. Let's actually put those in her attack rotation list. Rosie, jump attack, whirl attack, and charging attack. So now she does all kinds of cool things. 3 different moves is pretty good, I'd say. Gives her a good amount of variety. That's fun. That's fun. Now, how do I make her, use this bride a little bit more? I don't want her to predictably run through all her attacks, but also we haven't seen the charge attack at all. Nice. Okay. Well. Huh. I could set limitations on when she could use each attack, such as she can only use... Yeah, it could be like a shuffle. Like, I pick her next 3 attacks, and then she uses those. We could use some kind of rule that says attack A cannot be used on turn 1, 4, 7. Attack B cannot be used 2, 5, 8. And that just reduces the chance of duplicates. It doesn't outright remove it. I think it's just I don't want the same move twice in a row, but yeah, I think card draw might be the way to go. Shuffle a deck of 3. How are we gonna do that? Because that's just a her thing. That's not an every enemy thing. I'm okay with other enemies occasionally repeating attacks. She does not have any defense. But her base damage is 2 on the AoE and the jump, and 1 times 3 on the twirl. Actually, considering maybe the jump should be a little bit hardier. What am I comparing this to in TTYD? That'd be Shadow Sirens. So that's hard. That's an apples and oranges situation because that's a very different. That's not one single enemy with a lot of HP, and you're expected to do a little bit of AOE attacks because you just unlocked Earth Tremor by that point, and so they hit you up immediately with a 3 mini boss. Yeah. So if we're the what is it? The Pong, the Breakout game. We've got that set to do 9 damage max. Though I may retool it a bit and max it out at 8 or something. Or make it a little bit harder to max damage just by making it like instead of having 9 pegs that each do 1 damage, have 18 that each do a half a damage. Yeah, so let's see. We have to consider good optimal player versus standard player. Optimal player is going to hit her for the special move right off the bat. 9 damage. Partner hits for 2. So there's 11. Next round, some kind of power attack for 4 more. So now we're at 15. 17. There's going to be phases also, I think. At the first threshold, she's going to be forced to use a move that bumps up her strength by 1 permanently for the fight. And then at another threshold, she's going to have a fake out death and then pop back up with another bonus of some sort for like a last hurrah. Yeah, item is good. Yeah, let's see here. If we take her, I want her to be pretty tough for the hard mode players. Yeah, probably 2 to 3 rounds per phase. And the idea is that you kind of get a freebie when she does her power-up move because she's just going to be like, she's going to be wasting a turn, quote-unquote, getting extra strength. Which that's going to make her twirl very dangerous because suddenly that 3 damage becomes 6 damage. Yeah, we'll do some testing. We'll play it by ear a little bit. I want it to be kind of it's got to be a little bit of a hard game at times. Telegraph's 1 strong move. Do you mean like Mozzie in the prologue fight with the big rat? Oh, like the player is supposed to defend. Oh. No, Mozzie's only thing was like he punches you or he charges up his strength for the next 1 attack. And that's kind of me doing a little magic trick there because that means he doesn't damage you that round. He's just moving his damage to the next round. So he's still doing the exact same damage output. Probably, actually, technically less. No, I guess more. I guess you can't block twice, so if you're good at blocking, he's technically increasing his total damage output barely. How much health are players expected to have? Okay, so in testing, most players were winding up having 5 or 6 level ups by the Chapter 1 boss. But that's with like going out of their way to like, oh yeah, let's take on that guy, let's get some XP. Which I kind of like that. That's that's what I like in these games, is feeling like you're gaining strength as you go. So let's assume that they're taking 2 level ups for health, 2 for energy, and 2 for modules. And we're doing, 3 HP per level up? So they'd be at 16 health, which is pretty good. Partner at 10. Because at this stage of the game, you have not been able to upgrade your partners. I think partner upgrade is going to happen after Chapter 2. Maybe, or maybe right before Chapter 2. I think my current idea for partner upgrades is have 2 phases of partner upgrades. One, they get a health buff, just a little health bump as like your first upgrade. And then a second one is get a tag team move that they can use with another partner to swap out and deal damage. Or maybe both. Maybe that happens in tandem. Like when you gain a tag out move, you also give your partner plus 3 HP. That's a great point, Al. That's a great point. See, now I'm thinking like, oh, well, we gotta wait until we got 3 partners then, if we want to do the tag team thing. So true. Now, TTYD also upgraded the partner's strength, which was like huge. So having 3 different types of upgrade per partner is pretty big, of getting more health, more strength, or more an interesting strategic move that can actually deal decent damage. Well, I didn't think about this. If you give Cat and Leon each a swap out move that doesn't require energy, they could just infinitely use it to swap back in and out. So if it's stronger, it needs to have a little bit of a cost. Even if the cost is like a cooldown before you can use it again. Yeah, I really want to do the tag team move, because I think that's a really fun idea. Because so often you feel like you're wasting a turn swapping a partner out. But if you got these occasionally unlockable moves that let 2 partners kind of join up, then that's a cool thing. But if we hit the target of 6 partners, then we're looking at 21 unique tag team moves in the game. That's a lot of work, but it would also be a pretty cool selling point of like, hey, imagine TTYD, but every pairing of partners has their own unique move for tagging in. That'd be pretty cool. Get a buff when they swap in? Maybe. Just to encourage swapping partners when you can. Because I think that's something that happened a lot in TTYD, is you just stick with one partner a lot. So it's like, okay. Let's focus on the moves deck. So the way that we choose what move that a character is going to pick is in the enemy turn process. We grab a list of available moves. We iterate through all the moves that they have. If they're a mega enemy, they also gain the ability to summon minions. Mega enemies are not a thing for a long time, though. That's going to happen in the Pit of 100 Trials analog. Random or maybe a module. That could be cool. Like something that specifically changes how swap out moves work. Ultra enemies. We grab each of the moves. We check to see if there's a valid target. So if an enemy has 2 moves, one that hits all grounded enemies and one that hits any enemy, and there are no enemies on the ground, it's not going to pick the hit all grounded enemies move because there's no valid targets. There has to be a valid target. Moves can also have requirements, such as Jeremiah will not use his tongue attack to grab Cat if Cat is dead. So there's requirements on moves. So that gives us a list of available moves that we can use. If an enemy is holding an item, we add use item to their available moves. Then we pick randomly. That's it. That's the entirety of it. Let's see. Okay. Okay, maybe we can have a flag on an enemy that says specifically, don't use the same move back to back if you can help it, and use all of your available moves before recycling moves if you can help it. That's a big if you can help it occasionally. I think that'd be a decent way to go. Okay, so that means the battle unit needs to have not just a list of moves, but a list of ongoing, recently used moves. And that gets managed by the battle event system. So in enemy directory, we add a special use fresh moves is the name of this property, I guess. Sure, that sounds reasonable. Now, Snail King, I want him to occasionally use the same move twice in a row because that's kind of his shtick, is you don't know who he's going to hit. There's an audio cue for if he's aiming for the player in front or the partner in the back. And they have different block timings. So the fact that you don't know which one he's going to use next is pretty important. If he always cycled between the two, he'd be too predictable and he'd lose out on that completely. All right, so what we're going to do then? Oh, how do we add this? How do we add this? Move. This is the selected move, right? Selected move name. If enemy unit enemy type right? Held item. No, unit type, not enemy type. That's the one. Unit type. Dot get use fresh moves, default to false. Then enemy unit dot recent moves. Append our selected move name if we need to keep track of that. Okay, next up. If use fresh moves, then we need to modify our fresh moves system. Give me a list of fresh moves in the form of take all of our available moves, filter those by looking at recent moves dot has does not have the move name. So this gives us a list of every available move. So in this case, let's say Rosie has attacks A, B, and C, and she's used A. So A is in the list. This is going to say take A, B, and C and filter it down to just the ones that are not in that list of recent moves. So A gets taken out of the list. We're just left with B and C as our fresh moves. And then we can say, okay, available moves equals fresh moves now. And then we're done. But if fresh moves dot size is 0, then don't do that. So normally filter available moves down to just the fresh ones. But if we're out of fresh moves, then empty out our recent moves list. And that's it. Test it. Give me a set of 3 random moves, then a new set of 3 random moves, and then repeat forever. Here we go. We're starting with charge. Good. So we did charge. Now we did jump. Oh, look at that timing. And now we did twirl. Okay, so far so good. Now she should pick any of her 3 attacks. We did jump. I would really like to see twirl next. Nope, charge. Okay, so we gotta see twirl now. Yep, there's twirl. Okay, I want to see... So far, she's always done jump first, so I'd like to see something else. Jump again. Okay, I want to see things in a different order. Can we see twirl, please? No? All right. That's the nature of randomness, is you don't know. All right, so we have to see twirl next. That's great. So far, 3 times in a row, we've seen the exact same order. Come on, don't jump. Okay, good, she charged. So it was just random. All right, charge and then jump. And then twirl, presumably. Yep. And then back to anything. Twirl twice in a row is fine. Okay. I'm okay with it just not being the same one. So we're basically taking decks of cards, shuffling them, and then stacking them on top of each other. And that is fine. Now, when she does her power up, what's that gonna do? It's just gonna delay the system, but it's still gonna work fine. Okay. Charge up. What's that gonna look like? We do have a... Actually, that would be a great one for this. Is the same animation she does before charging at the player. Yeah, let's do that. So let's look at our Chapter 0 moves, because we have a enemy big rat charge. And we're gonna just take that. We're just gonna lift that wholesale here. And call that Rosie Charge Up. And that's going to do power up. You can only do that if you aren't already powered up. So do the pre-charge animation. Switch to idle at the end of it all. Power up is going to last for... Potency and then duration. Okay. What if it did like 99? Or just 100? Can I just have a it's gonna last forever? Like, why not? All right, so that is a weird one because that has to be one of the, that has to be a scripted action. Or does it? I could throw that in here and say that always happens on round X. Or I could say it requires no status effect and HP below. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Let's do it that way. Let's put it in her default list of attacks, but it'll have a requirement attached that says her HP has to be below a certain threshold and she is not already powered up. How do we want to do that? Current over max is less than 65%. And she's listed as having 30 HP, so we'd have to take out 10 HP. Whoops. And then she should charge up. Hit her with a baseball. Hit her with tongue. This needs work. Yeah, that's not actually done, is it? Yeah. Leon can't attack yet. Dabble can attack though. And Leon can use a baseball. Oh no, this is what's failing. Stat pool, max. Oh, max doesn't exist on the stat pool. What? No. Max value, because because Max is a reserved keyword. Not keyword, but like I can't have that exist as a thing. Okay. Yeah. That's fine. That's fine. It's fine. Figure out for 5. And 2. Block that, and then just attack for a bit. Okay, you don't get to attack though. Put a Scarecrow up. Let's see how she reacts to that. Oh, there we go. Okay. I think the rule needs to be, if a status effect's duration is more than a certain value, it does not tick down, and it doesn't even need to show how long is left. So yeah, having 2 extra strength, that's scary. Ooh. A unique idea presents itself. For the regular fight, I think just bumping her up to 1 extra strength for the remainder of the fight is scary enough. Now all the attacks are dealing 3. The twirl attack is able to do 6. That's scary. What if on hard mode, it does bump her strength up by 2? What if I just allowed that? It's like, all right, good luck. All right, status effects. Status effect container. Nope, not that. Status effect card. That's the one. All right. So what we're gonna do here? Duration. Label, previous duration. Effect instance. Here we go. There we go. There we go. Or duration is greater than 50. All right, we're gonna say 50 is the cutoff. If a status effect is triple digit, then we definitely don't intend for it to ever end. Battles should never last that long. We're gonna say 50 is a nice medium cutoff point. That should never happen in a game, so that's gonna be what we use. Status effect hitting a duration of 50 turns. That's just our placeholder for this status effect never actually ends. Remaining duration is what we've got here. Okay. Then just remove the thing. Boom, it's gone. But also, the status effect object, normally it reduces duration. We're going to say it has to have a duration less than 50 for it to actually tick down. If that's not the case, then it doesn't tick down. All right, there we go. Done. Just permanent buff. Oh, nope, I didn't actually want to start it again. Thank you. All right, good. Get rid of that. And let's change the strength to 1, a bonus of 1. And what if also when she did this... Oh, wait. Ooh. Just realized. Slight problem here. She has the chance to use this. Also, I want this to actually... I want to know what it's going to say about this. She has the chance to use this, but it doesn't get enforced. So she could just skip it, and that would suck. I need her to actually... that's what I was afraid of. It's doing integer division. I need to, like, coerce that. Is that good enough? Oh, wait. It's not gonna be what I want. I want to print. I want to see the value. I want to see it printing. Actually, maybe it wasn't going to do that. Let's get 1 damage out. Let's do this. Maybe it was going to be fine. Maybe it was actually going to be fine. All right, there we go. What did we print? Oh, yeah, it was doing integer. Okay, cool. Well, then I made a good decision there. Okay, but the problem here is this is just a requirement for when it can use it, not for when it must use it. Glover. So how can we... One idea is invert it for the other attacks and say, but you see, these others, yes. I could add a priority. Bum, 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 bum. Let's do that. Let's allow moves to have priority. Now, is it a true false or is it a numeric? I think true false is good for now. So let's mess with events here. I win! I should probably quintuple that at some point just to make sure I don't ever run out anytime soon. It's me. I was the Dabble Dragon. Look.
Do a barrel roll.
Well, okay. I mean, if I guess if that's what the people want. Okay. Use fresh moves. Thank you for the follow. That was the dumbest. Yeah, that's the thought process. Is I did something really dumb, and someone was like, "You know what? Yeah, I want to see more of that. I want to see more of that. I'm sticking around. That's what I want." The lowest hanging fruit for stream comedy. This is what Twitch was made for. I should have said a poet. Right, available moves. We pick which available move we're gonna use. We get the move, and we do the thing. Oh, see, that's annoying, isn't it? I would have to get all of the moves. Oh, wait, we already do that, don't we? We already do get move to get the... Yeah, to see if they're targetable.
Bonus ducks.
Bonus ducks. Do, do, do. Oh, see, well, that's silly, though, isn't it? I'm passing this around as just a big list of names, but right here, I already go and pull into memory the entire move dictionary for each move. And then I discard it, and then I go get it again later. We shouldn't be carrying around move names. We should be carrying around moves. Oh, I'm gonna rewrite this and I'm gonna break something. Let's do it. Instead of available move names, we're just going with available moves. Oh, dang it. Use item is a string, though. Okay, well, that's a problem. Is it? I can make a dictionary. I can make a dummy dictionary. Name. Available moves. Selected move instead of selected move name. We already have the move now. It's just a selected move. So that saves us doing another get. Okay, I think everything should be the same as before now. Great. Ah, Gex. Oh, Germdove would hate Gex on the N64. Let's make Germdove play Gex on the N64. The one with the Titanic level. It was so bad. Oh, I hated that Titanic level. Oh, what a good N64 game. I don't know, it's just strange personal fascination with just the bad games of the N64. I don't think he would forgive me. I think that would be a deal breaker right there. Let's see here. So now what we want to do is we want to introduce this new priority system for moves. Moves can have priority. We want to say oh, does it go past held item, is it the use item system? I think so. I think it exceeds that. All right. If available moves dot any priority, if any of them has priority, I hate having to wrap my hands around the microphone, but I don't want to get a mic stand. If there are any priority moves, then those are the only moves you're allowed to use this turn. And that's past making sure that the requirements are met. So, if this goes well, if this does what I expect it to do, and let's change Rosie's strength to 0 temporarily. I did play NES Barbie. All right, let's see what moves she uses. Okay, twirl. Good. Oops. Twirl, charge, jump, jump. Okay, so she cycled through her moves. Great. Charge again. Okay. Twirl. Charge. Okay, she's got to be getting to that sweet spot here. There it is. And she can't do it again, right? Yeah, she can't. 2, 3. Nice. All right. Great. It worked. Priority is now a system for individual moves. And this just means that if the move is available by its requirement system, it will have to use a priority move if any of them are available for that round. So if there are valid targets, requirements, if any, are met, then it locks in that as the move for that turn. Well, that's usable in a lot of interesting situations, I think. Okay, cool. So that's the charge up. We also were thinking, oh, you know what else would be pretty nice? All right, let's do this. Let's comment this out and just say, always use it if you're not already powered up. What if we did a tween? For the scale. Rosie's overall scale. Default 1. Makes sense. What if we changed it? To like 1.3 over the course of like 1 second. Elastic ease out. What's the, hang on, Godot, tween, cheat sheet. I use this so much. Yeah, elastic ease out. That's the one. All right, let's see what this looks like. This would certainly make her more intimidating, right? All right, skip turn, skip turn. Oh, that looks really good. Oh, elastic tween good? Maybe 1.2. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That boing, boing, boing is really nice. Yeah, I love it. That's really good. That's really good. Okay, that's the charge up system done. Now, we were still thinking of some kind of like finale, like, oh, I'm not out yet. Kind of a fake out death and then a heal. But is that too much? Is that too much? Maybe we leave her at this, and she does the damage up at 50%, and we stop touching it. We leave it alone for now. We'll check in on it later and see how we're feeling during cleanup. Rosie's done. She will need dialogue during the combat, but that is not tied to Her moves, that is not tied to her enemy entry, that is its own special script that we call a battle script, which is special rules for a specific battle, not for the enemies in that battle. So, for instance, there's a battle script for the snails you fight near the waterfall. Even though they're just regular snails, there's a special script where you get tutorialized a little bit on defense calculation and how to get around enemies with defense. So anytime that there's dialogue in a fight, that's almost certainly one of my battle scripts. And that's just done using a lot of signals that we connect in to say things like, oh, on a unit takes damage, then check these flags and then do this dialogue if X. It's fine. Just all this stuff. Very barricade. Okay. So here's the idea. Two different ideas I get. Well, two possible ways to use this idea, specifically just for the pun of barricade. Because we are doing a lot of plant-based enemies in Chapter 2. That's kind of the running theme. So it works. So what if we have a special enemy type of a barricade, effectively, that is just meant to soak up damage and make it difficult to hit the enemies in the back line. I think there's something to that. I kind of experimented with that a little bit in Chapter 1 with the cave mites. They have very high defense, and they have a chance of temporarily bumping their defense even higher to where you have no way of damaging them for a time. And the idea was, okay, this forces you to use an alternate attack to hit the back enemies so that you're still making progress on the overall enemy health bar. But yeah, what if planting a destructible barrier? Well, no, because we've already got the, I was thinking more of an enemy than a item you use. Because we've already got the Scarecrow for an item that soaks up damage on your behalf. But merely for the pun, Barricade would make for a decent enemy type. But we need to stack onto that that, yes, it's an enemy, but maybe an enemy you don't actually have to kill to win the battle. So a special enemy type that you don't have to defeat them to win. If you defeat all other enemies, they just die and you win. I think Slay the Spire did that. Like, some enemy types were listed as minions, where if as long as you kill the main enemy, the minions would flee. And you couldn't really farm the minions for much of anything. Like, a handful of cards that have effects on kill would trigger, but most of the really good ones, like Feed, they specifically called out this card does not trigger on minions. I wonder, what is it? What can we do with that? Of like, okay, if you hit this, then, you know, if you damage this thing, yes, you're taking down its obnoxiously large health pool. Let's say, I don't know, 6 health or something. So it would take like a turn and a half to knock it out if you wanted to go through it the old-fashioned way. Or you just rely on Dabble to take things out with Springs. Presumably a special move, or a module move So you can deal 4 damage at a time, take out the back enemies even faster, and then just ignore the front enemies. But then, I don't know, Cat can't do anything except stand in the front line and defend. Oh, there's an idea. There's an idea. Okay. Maybe there is nothing in the back line. Does this fit in chapter 2? Is there a better place we can fit this? 4, no. 5, no. 6, definitely not. 7, 8, no. Okay, if we're going to do it, it's going to be chapter 2. But it does seem very silly. It could be, I don't know, a fight that we could squeeze in anywhere. But yeah, like maybe something that just has a lot of HP but doesn't deal a lot of damage, and something that doesn't have a lot of HP but does deal a lot of damage in the back line. So you need to strategize and be like, okay, how can I get a bunch of damage to the back quickly and then deal with this damage sponge in the front? It's not super necessary. Well, okay, there is another enemy we still never finished. Let me see here. It's in my scratch notes. DuckTales. Art, scratch, chapter 2, enemies. Right, we have 2. Oh yeah, this guy never actually got used anywhere. We did 2 enemies, so I guess we can take this guy out. And we did him and him. These guys are done. Finally retreats. Yeah. Now it'd be really handy if Leon was particularly useful. And that's true. So his main shtick is that he can hit an enemy that is in the air or on the ground, as long as it's the first enemy. He can't hit an enemy anywhere on the field. He's not that OP. But he can hit an enemy that's either airborne or grounded. Which can be handy. That's useful. It's especially useful if an enemy switches a lot. And that's the idea with this guy on the right, is it's kind of like a vine plant that sort of goes up and down on some sort of screw system, like a screw lift. So is there a way that we could convert that into a berry bush? Because imagine after you collect Leon as a partner and you have to do this little adventure in the canopy to get the power station powered up so that you can get inside and get up the elevator and finally get to the boss of chapter 2. You encounter a forced fight against yet another mid-boss? 2 mid-bosses in chapter 2? Why not? Maybe? Barricade, and it's an ambush. So barricade, I mean, I guess it doesn't have to be soak up damage and that's it. Well, he doesn't hold on. He just smacks him. Just a punch. Just like with grounded enemies, nobody holds on to Cat's wrench or to Dabble's gear. Thank goodness, because that would be a pain to deal with animation-wise. Barricade. Hey, Crasher, welcome in. We're brainstorming a little fight in Chapter 2. We just finished the moves for the mid-boss, so that's done. And now I'm thinking of adding yet another required fight just for funsies. Mostly because I came up with a pun, and I want to see if I can just really force it into the game somehow. So we are trying to make Barricade happen. No, this mushroom is just going to be a regular enemy in the dungeon, in Chapter 2 dungeon. It's meant to be kind of like a Tesla coil merged with a mushroom. I don't know exactly how that's going to work, but it'll be an interesting one. And it'll do some status effect stuff, which will be fun to program in for our current system. It should be pretty easy to add in. Yeah, electric mushroom. So current idea for the barricade. It's going to be vaguely just like, I don't know, a shrub. But with berries. It is berries. Like I could have like just a bunch of berries acting as a face. Like just a bunch of red berries here. And they just kind of move independently, and that's how we do the animation. That makes it more in-depth animation in some ways and less in others. I don't think it'll end up being paralysis. I think it's gonna be a drain on mana, maybe? Or something along those lines, we'll see. That'd be a good move. Berry Barrage. The trick is, how do we make Leon important? How do we make Leon important for this? It needs to be high up. It needs to be high up where you can't reach it. Like halfway through the fight, it rises up where you can no longer reach it. And then Leon becomes important because it keeps switching. It doesn't eat the enemies. He only eats bugs. That's ridiculous. That would certainly be interesting if it was like a scripted victory condition, like you cannot beat it unless you eat the berries off of it. I don't love those kinds of fights, like Bunt in Super Mario RPG, where the only way to progress the fight is to blow out the candles, which isn't done with a specific move. It's basically just by continually attacking it. But if you take any significant break to heal and use items to kind of get your party back up and in good condition, the candles keep relighting. So the only way to really win is to just wail on it for an extended duration. Not aiming for a lot of damage, just aiming for any damage for an extended period of time. It's a weird gimmick fight that it feels silly. I want to avoid that, where it's a kind of a gag fight, but maybe something like that. Yeah, I mean, maybe eating the berries weakens him. Eating the berries. I'm talking about this like this is definitely going to happen. That seems tricky. It's not out of the question. Scene item. King Goomba in the introduction to Paper Mario 64. It's kind of the prologue boss, where there is a tree root with a bandage on it, and if you smack it, then a big seed falls out of the tree and damages the minions and the boss, which makes the whole thing significantly easier. His main deal is supposed to be versatility. Maybe I need to consider an optional second move for Leon. My main idea was give him an AoE attack. Let him be able to attack all grounded enemies with his tongue. And I'm starting to think maybe we need to lean more on the Chameleon's other major renowned animal trait, which is the camouflage. Maybe? Okay, I really don't want to program in missing into the game if we can avoid it. It's an interesting system in TTYD, having basically a 50-50 shot in like dodgy situations. So typically, if it's going to be a full-on you prevent damage completely, then Thousand Year Door has a great example with the partner Vivian, who has a 1 flower point move, so very cheap, called Veil, where when you use it, Mario and Vivian both become completely invulnerable for 1 turn, but that also costs them their next turn. Which in most fights is a waste. It's like, okay, yes, you didn't get hit by that turn's attack, but you immediately get hit by the next turn's attack. And the reason for it is the niche use case is supposed to be, you know, a very strong attack is about to hit. Like the enemy has just done a power-up move that charges their strength by 5 for 1 turn. It's like, okay, let's dodge this 1 turn and just tank the second turn. So it comes up a lot in that chapter, less so in other parts of the game, but there are a few good use cases. But that balances well. It's like, okay, yes, you don't get hit, but now in this, it's like I would need them to attack a dummy entity It'd be handy if the idea is like Leon camouflages the team in the idea of like granting a status effect. Because I would still want to see the enemy's attack animation play out, but just deal no damage. Just don't know what that would look like exactly. But let's say we can do that. It feels very early to include that sort of system, so maybe there's something better that could work. It feels like it's a system of negating damage. Like, that seems to be the obvious thing, but is there something else that could be done with a camo setup? Changing colors to blend in with the environment so the enemy has a chance of missing. Maybe that's a good thing. Okay, but then what would that be good for against the barricade? I mean, obviously, I guess big attack coming kind of thing makes sense. So that could fit in. I mean, yeah, regardless of the order, it would, we just kind of hand wave it and say, yes, he turns both of them translucent and just don't think about it too hard kind of thing. I can't stare at this guy anymore. Let's stare at this instead. Yeah, that's fine. I've got no problems with that. Is this something we're going to figure out tonight? Probably not. It would help to flesh out this canopy section. So the idea is we've got this whole little after the mid-boss, but before the dungeon starts. We've got this zone where I've got the camera pulled back a little bit farther than usual. The idea is you're going to try to get to this solar panel in the back through a series of little platforming challenges. The idea is you can't get over here until you've got Leon in your party. So you can come to this area, but this is as far as you can go without Leon. And so you'll get here and be like, oh, and maybe there'll be a little character you can talk to, so that it doesn't feel like a weird dead end, and maybe gives you a little bit of lore about the solar field that used to be here before the forest grew in very quickly and very aggressively. You do platforming across trees and across little solar panels, and that's cool and fun. And then somehow we do like a little bit of like crossing over, kind of just following a fairly linear path. And the idea I was playing with at first was, and then you get to this part, and now you platform at a 90-degree angle so that Leon's ability can kind of get you in the Z-axis. But maybe we can actually extend this area out a bit so that it becomes kind of its own little mini dungeon. Not huge, like 2 or 3 rooms, with the goal being get over here. I guess by a series of like shakedown branches so that you can lower these grapples. That's what we're gonna call this fruit, the grapples. That's canon now. You gotta lower these grapple branches so that you can get across in new areas. And then you'll finally get onto the final stretch, and then, then you get ambushed. And then that's another mini boss fight. But it's not going to be as hard as Rosie. It's going to be significantly easier. But it needs to be something where Leon has a chance to shine in combat. So I think in this area, we want to throw a lot more enemies that are airborne where possible. And then this big blob, this barricade. I guess he doesn't even have to be a mid-boss. He could just be just a regular enemy out here. I guess that's a great... It could just be a regular enemy. We don't need to make a big deal out of this thing. Just make a little berry bush. Make the berries move into a sad face when he's sad. Just do when he gets hurt, just do this. Boom. Done. Animated. A little blobbing animation, and then I got hit. Make his eyes spin around or something. And then his attack is that he just kind of shoots you with berries. Sure. Still doesn't work great for Leon being having some kind of advantage. I think if I can figure out the camo stuff, then that works well. Okay. So we still have about 3 enemies-ish to go. This guy over here that changes between ground and in the air, very important for Leon to be considered useful. Like that's a huge deal right there. Because like that's his whole shtick is this guy changes up and down. Leon can hit him regardless. Great, cool, good enemy. I think tomorrow we need to work on that guy. The electric mushroom. Important mostly because he has an electric attack. And we're going to combine that with a new system called Field Status Effects. So that he becomes more of a threat in a certain room. And that will be an interesting thing to happen. Yeah, I think that's it. Maybe if Barricade was very tall. Maybe it was just very tall. Just a big berry bush. That's it. That's it. All right, we got it. The berries are very tall. That's it. We figured it out. The berry bush is very tall. And every turn, the berries can kind of shift, and the berries are the target. So if the berries are up here, you cannot hit him down here. It doesn't do anything. So he switches between flying and not flying maybe every turn. And he's just a huge shrub. All right, so let's make that a to-do list. This is done. We're done with Rosie for now. Barricade. Tall shrub enemy. Berry face moves up and down. Changing is flying variable. fires berries as an attack. Makes sense. He doesn't need a lot of different attacks. Like, I'm trying to think how many... I should go through and think about this pretty in depth at some point. How many enemies in Thousand Year Door actually have more than one attack? Because I feel like a lot of them are just the one attack. Cherry Bomb. Cherry Bomb would be a great attack name. Even though you don't see attack names, it's a good helpful tool. Oh, hang on. This could be interesting and makes it more of a mid-boss than a regular... Well, not a mid-boss exactly, but just like a big fight. Okay, consider this. Cherry Bomb. Cherry appears above front or back rank, drops next turn on whoever is there. So you can't do anything about it. It's coming. It's going to happen next round that the cherry bomb drops from the tree and lands and explodes. You can't change that it's going to hit, but you know who it's going to hit, and you can swap out or defend or whatever to deal with it. That's interesting. Darkest Dungeon Prophet fight. It has that mechanic where his main attack does not pick a target, it picks a position. And then for the next round, you can shuffle people around and prepare for the damage that's incoming, which makes it really, really interesting. So Cherry Bomb or Firing Berries. That's a good enemy. Let's do that entire thing. Drawing, animating, and this dumb mechanic of delayed attack that I have no idea how we're going to do. It's not a literal cherry tree. It's just going to be like a cherry appears above the players. Not from a tree, just it's there. Deal with it. That's going to be an interesting one to do rank-based attacks, because I think that's a common-ish thing. I don't know if there's a common name for it. Okay. Yeah, I think that's a good one. Then we still need to do the Zap Mushroom enemy, whatever that's going to be called. That needs some sort of status effect thing for electricity. And then the retracting vine thing just needs to be made. It's going to have... I don't even know what kind of attack it's going to have. Probably just zips up from the ground and just kind of, I don't know, smacks you. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. All right, so we got 3 enemies to make. Pretty safe bet enemies there. And then also we need a boss. So tomorrow we will resume with making enemies and building attacks, and one of these is going to require a whole new system that doesn't exist yet, which that'll be fun to program. This one will require a new status effect, and we need to look into doing field status effects. I don't know how we're going to program that, so that's a new thing to program. Retracting Vine, not too bad. Boss, I need to actually plan that out more. I've got the vaguest idea, but we want Leon to be useful. So there likely will be some kind of up-down movement stuff that Leon does best with. Let's see if we can find somebody to raid. Oh, I love raid. No, 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 no. That's fine. What do we want to see? What do we want to see? Everybody's offline. Wait, Cricket's on. Maybe. Wait, what are you doing? That doesn't. What are you doing? What are you doing? Lizard Machine for SMW. Don't know any of you. Don't know any of you. Don't want to meet new people right now. Less excited about that. Let's see what's going on over here. An ad. Oh. That looks like video games. Oh, it is in fact a video game, not making video games. Well, that's not what I was looking for. I get it, but it's not what I was looking for. Raiding is the, I mean, it used to be. Now it's invasions. That's the big thing now. No, 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 no. I need to make it a point to look into researching all these cool people off stream at some point to see who would make for good raid targets going forward. Java. No, thank you. Ew. My biggest gripe with raiding into game development as a category, Mr. Coffee is on, not doing video games of any sort. Game dev as a category kind of stinks to raid into because you're just judging people based on still images of the the project's code, usually. It's like, you know what? That's not super useful. It's not super useful as a thing to judge on. Maybe we will show Mr. Coffee a little bit of love here. I traditionally prefer either game dev or video games, but I guess I'm not completely opposed to it. I was gonna go over to Cricket, but he's just playing. I would go over to him for the projects he works on, but because I don't get a chance to do that very often. We're not raiding into Fui. Things got weird. Oh, hey, Rig. I came back over from browsing, and then I come over and I see your recommendations and see Fui on there. Fui is high energy. I can't take that. I can't take that level of energy. Yeah, Cricket's not doing game dev right now. Let's see here. We got Hyper and what was the other recommendation? Liz. I don't know Liz at all. Let me take a quick look. I need to bump up my quality here. Go 720. No, put the tab down. Let me see your Godot. Let me look at your Godot. Let's just go for it. Let's meet. All right, we're gonna meet people. It's fine. I'm fine with meeting people. Hi, Popples. Welcome in. No, Fui was recommended once before, but I had the complete wrong idea of what to expect because they were recommended by someone who was a very chill game dev streamer, and I was like, okay, this chill game dev streamer has recommended a game dev streamer, perhaps also chill. It was not chill. It was zany, which zany is fine, but I need to prepare myself for zany. Hira and New Jank. Okay. It's good to. What I did last time that I was starting to run out of targets frequently is I just. Actually, I'm going to do this now. Is I made a list of all the people that were currently online when I was going offline, and then looked back at their schedule the next day to see, like, okay, how long do they stream? What kind of stuff do they work on? And I made a big spreadsheet to rank how good of a raid target everybody would be. It was exactly the sort of thing that I would expect me to do. Everyone, have a good night. We'll be back to build more enemies tomorrow. We got 3 regular enemies and 1 boss to finish for chapter 2. So bye everybody. Thanks for hanging out. See you over there. Whee! Yay!